finally moving to a part of the story that everyone, and when I mean everyone, I actually mean no one, since everyone is complaining about that, but I'm still saying everyone has waited for. The first step in the plan to kill Acnologia. After all, people cannot stop complaining about this manga, saying like blah 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 blah, and the thing is that people fear the most right now is Acnologia's defeat. Why do they fear that? Well, because after all, if anyone is the god of indestructibility right now, after all, every single manga has at least one enemy that is extremely indestructible. And people have a very hard time accepting that one's defeat. Which now seems to move to the first plan that Acnologia will be defeated, which no one is gonna like. So yes, this is the Angry Anime Fan, the Despair Reviewer, uh, talking about chapter 5 to 8. However, having said all those complaints, now I will actually say what I felt about this chapter, which was actually pretty good. We see a nice cover page about the beginning on when the strongest team was formed, almost like saying us that we are reaching an end. We are back to the scene where Ersa and Wendy, as Acnologia keep on hitting the corpse of Eileen. Ersa, despite realizing who that man is, tells him to stop. And strangely enough, Acnologia looks at her and just talks. I mean, I say strangely enough because he says, "You have the same scent as this woman." I mean, didn't Sting say that their relatives had different scent? Screw it, I'm not going with that logic anymore. So, but then Acnologia looks at Wendy at long last, because many complained when Acnologia appeared. Oh, why didn't he just kill Wendy? Why he is hunting Dragonslayers? Why did he go after that one? Why didn't he realize that Eileen was the one? The thing is, I can agree with you. Why didn't Acnologia see that Eileen was that mother of all Dragonslayers? However, you have to realize one thing. This is Acnologia. A man of complete... no, I'm not a man. A man and a dragon of complete insanity. In fact, there has been one question that has been vexing even those that have defending Fairy Tail for a very long time. And that is, what is Acnologia's past? Because the only thing that we can see of Acnologia's personality right now, that is nothing more than insanity, destruction, and complete and utter chaos. He seems to be almost like, those ancient myths or whatever they were called, of death or something. When they portrayed someone as absolute evil because they did not have a reason for it. They were just absolute evil. Eileen did say that overusing the Dragonslayer magic would drive a person insane. And Acnologia do have these marks which shows sense of tiresome, which also is a hint of his insanity. But the thing is, I think what people is asking, was Acnologia always this mad? Or did the Dragon Slayer just increase the madness? And if you ask me, I think he always was mad. The Dragon Slayer magic, though, just took that up to 11. So why did Acnologia attack the Eileen corpse? Because of his insanity. There are some things. In fact, he has decided to. He is not interested in Serap's plan to destroy humanity. I mean, he wants to destroy humanity too. But Eileen herself asked, "Shouldn't you have a reason for that?" And he has said, "I have no interest in any of your reasons," meaning that this is a man who just do what he wants to do. So don't try to ask, why didn't Acnologia see Wendy before? Because he didn't. He was just simply focused on one thing, but now he does. And so Acnologia attacks them. But Jalal appears show some pretty awesome attacks and attack Agnologia. Of course, when everybody saw the spoiler, they immediately freaked out. You fools, you immediately freaked out. But then again, you should be happy because, of course, these attacks proves useless towards Agnologia, but not the way we assumed it to be. No, Agnologia devours Jelal's magic instead, revealing the first very clue on why Agnologia is indestructible. Wendy wonders what attribute that is, but Agnologia does not have one. This may be a different translation, but he calls himself the final dragon, the death dragon that devours all magic. Long time ago, Grandine says that uh, he reaped out their souls, and that could very well also be associated with death, meaning that every single magic is useless against him. And well, that's why he could also reap the souls of the dragons, because he to devour their magic too. And this is actually one of the reasons why Acnologia is so indestructible, because no magic does work on him. Dragonslayer magic may just a tiny bit do, because after all they have the soul of a dragon. However, this also answers the question on why Acnologia wanted to destroy END. He claimed he did not fear the END nor the demons, which he probably did not, but you should note that the demons, they channeled curses, which Acnologia cannot devour, because curse is not magic. That may have actually been the key to defeat him, which also imply that what's that word? Um, that if Natsu really does have the END power within himself, if he can merge that together with his Dragonslayer magic and yet still keep his sanity, then the key to defeating Ethnologia could very well be there. However, we shouldn't be too surprised after all. Wendy wants to fight despite her fear, but then Christina appears and surprisingly knocks Acnologia a little bit away. I mean, not much, and people are gonna say that it's kind of. But Christina always have been a little bit of the entrance where it's kind of done one badass entrance and then immediately destroyed. Note that did not even hurt Acnologia, but it did temporarily knock him away. It's Ichiya who has returned with his wounds, taking the three of them towards apparently a place where he believes they can find a way to beat Acnologia. And that's what people are going to complain about. Whatever that place is, no one is going to like it. After all, if you ask me, I'm all for Acnologia's defeat. But yes, I also want the Dragonslayers to be the one to defeat him. But I think very likely that won't be, because this chapter ends with a very interesting page. As Ichiya says the words that we might find a way, she turns to a mysterious lady. It's unknown if this is an old lady or a younger lady. I mean, the face is pretty much different. However, her clothing, not to mention her hair, is very familiar. Looks very much like the Hartophilia family. And that is not Lucy. Or is it another future Lucy? Is this Layla? Many did say that the hair was very similar to Layla. Or are you telling me this is Anna? However, if this one really is a Hartophilia, I mean, it could very well not be. But if it is a Hartophilia, then I'm gonna be happy about that, because I once had a fan theory in my head to say perhaps one of the keys to defeating Athnologia lies with the celestial spirits. I mean, They have magic, but I think they are also one of the keys to defeating Agnologia. If they could drain the magic from him. But again, it could very well just be another one. But the hair, the clothing, is a little bit too familiar. So I don't know who this one is. Could very well also be a new Heartophilia, but for now, let's just say that this one is. I actually thought also for a moment that it was Porlicia. After all, they did have the same clothing. Wait, they also do have the same clothing. Hmm. Well, next chapter is called Teacher, so whoever this woman is could very well be the teacher. Who knows? Maybe even to Porlicia or Ishia. Finally, we'll end the chapter with one thing. Mashima-san did actually a cleverness here. This chapter was called Demon Dragon. We all presumed that it was going to be Natsu showing he is E&D's side together with his Dragonslayer side. No, the Demon Dragon title came from Agnologia himself, because that's who he is. He has no attribute because he is the Demon Dragon, the one who devours all magic and causes all death. So in the end, this is this chapter and my very big rant about this. So try not to put in too much logic on Agnologia. Logic is fine, but I hate logic, and also because let's just say that Agnologia is a man that seek vengeance, seek destruction. So why couldn't he just have seen that Eileen was that mother? Because, well, he just not was interested in that. He simply wanted to have a fun fight, and he forgot to think about that. He only figured that out after he was teleported away, because the magic was then familiar. Agnologia is simply a madman and insanity. He has no reason to remember things he don't want to remember until they make an impression on him. Note, he did not even talk to Igneel until he proved his power. This doesn't explain why he talks now, but that's because he is in his human form. And he decides now to target Wendy, because after he was done attacking Eileen, well, now he can attack Wendy. Still hasn't gotten the answer on my sin, which Agnologia said, but if we'll get some background information on Agnologia, I'm fine with that. But if we also are heading towards his defeat, I'm all the more fine with that. So give me your thoughts if you have any.